We are doing 7-round mock draft 2.0 for my channel, and in this draft we do have trades. We have a couple trades here. Also, it is updated after the Goff trade, so the Detroit Lions will have that pick, plus you're going to see trades here. And with the first pick in the 2021 NFL mock draft, the Detroit Lions make a trade with the Washington football team. The Detroit Lions get Washington's 19th pick, Washington's 2021 third-round draft pick, and Washington's 2022 first-round draft pick. And with the first pick, 19 overall, the Detroit Lions select Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker, Notre Dame. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah projects as an impact defender at the NFL level. There's an undeniable level of explosion to his game, and it helps Owusu-Koramoah mask the limitations of his game on account of his stature. An ideal match for a team perspective would be one that wants to stay in their base defensive personnel at a higher than average rate, where Owusu-Koramoah's versatility can shine brightly against the spread sets. There's plenty of experience playing to the pressure player up the middle, even as a third safety who walked outside the hashes and taking man-to-man reps against the wide receivers from the slot. Owusu-Koramoah took a big step forward in his game in 2020 and was at the level contested the best of the football player on the field. He moves at a different speed than his stature, than his teammates, and his instincts to find the football and make big plays undeniable. The more you watch, the more you love. Just don't ask him to play a traditional stack roll and attempt to work him as a Mike linebacker for sustained optimal success. When it comes to Owusu-Koramoah, he had 41 solo tackles, 1.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. He is a playmaker on the field and a difference maker, breakout plays, helping the defense make splash moves. When it comes to Owusu-Koramoah, the Detroit Lions lack linebacker depth, and with the 19th pick, they got a very solid linebacker. You throw him on the defense, immediately the defense gets better. They can actually cover wide receivers and tight ends for a change and have the ability to stop the run. If the Lions made this trade to 19, this would be a solid pick for them. Let's go ahead and get to 13,000 subscribers. I noticed that nearly 60% of the people that watch my content are not subscribed. If you're not subscribed, folks, you're going to miss out on the content. I drop in it every single day, sporadically throughout the times. Make sure you subscribe and you don't miss out. And with the second pick, 41 overall, the Detroit Lions select defensive end Joseph Ossai, Texas. What's good about Ossai here is he comes out fast in the starting blocks as he's experienced pre-snap stance, a bull stance, outside linebacker, his hand on the ground. He shows to be much more comfortable when he can stand up and explode compared to coming from the ground and accelerating. Getting up the field quickly is an area where he's shown a capability of consistently executing. The former Longhorn edge rusher has the bend necessary to be a pass rusher, not only gain ground in the upfield shoulders of blockers, but an ankle flexation in order to bend dip corner passer, lowering his center of gravity and get underneath the arm of the blocker, and his technique that he's able to remain consistent. Ossai's keen on his pass rush approach, possessing a variety of different moves. He's more of a counter mover compared to initiating the first move to dictate where he'll be next. Highly impactful reactionary edge rusher who's forced offensive tackles to hand consistent answers to counter moves and to be deployed. Ossai is quick and efficient operator and can execute speed to power move. Joseph Ossai had 25 solo tackles, 5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 0 interceptions. The Detroit Lions need help at pass rusher, and he can be a contributor to the Detroit Lions defense to get after the quarterback on the edge and on the ground and standing up. The Detroit Lions need much help when it comes to the defense. They need to be able to get after the passer. This guy can do it. Him alongside Jaylen Waddle would be a nice combination, a young combination to finally get after the quarterback. The Detroit Lions need to do everything they can to put pressure. The linebacking core is hurt. The defensive line core is hurt. He would be a good upgrade for the Lions defense. And with the first pick, 72 overall in the third round, the Detroit Lions select safety Jevon, Holland, Oregon. Jevon Holland aligned at safety for the Ducks defense. He's shown excellent versatility and football IQ IQ to align with multiple places in the secondary. He demonstrates good leadership and communication on the back end and easily adjusts with motion. He's an excellent athlete with loose hips, agility, and body control while in coverage. When aligned in the slot, he demonstrates the coverage upside and allow coordinator the flexibility to make different calls. As a result, he demonstrates a skill set that will allow the defense to stay in a base against 11 personnel. He has tremendous versatility and ball skills to make him an elite prospect at this position. Jevon Holland career stats is 71 solo tackles, 10 pass defense, 0 forced fumbles, 9 interception. He is a playmaker, and the Detroit Lions need playmakers in the secondary. Throw Jevon Holland in that secondary, you have a very young core. You got Jevon Holland, you'd have Walker, you would have Amani-Oruwariye, Jeff Okudah. That would be a very good young core. We've already beefed up the linebacking core, the defensive end / linebacking core. Throw young safety in that mix. The defense is starting to build. Jevon Holland, playmaker. They need playmakers. No doubt about it. Turnovers wins games. He can do it. He would be a great pick for the first third-round pick in the draft. For the second third-round draft pick, 74 overall, the Detroit Lions select wide receiver from USC, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown aligns as wide receiver for the Trojans offense, typically from the slot. He plays with very good overall athleticism as evidenced by his body control, agility, and route running. His play embodies a blue-collar toughness and competitiveness rarely seen from the wide receiver position. He is an excellent contested catch situations due to headedness and big play ability. He excels between the numbers and is a threat in the short, immediate, and deep passing game. He's an excellent hand-eye coordination, which makes him efficient catching targets. Amon-Ra St. Brown, career stats, 41 receptions, 478 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 11.7 average. The Detroit Lions need help at the wide receiver position. There's many free agents right now when it comes to Marvin Jones Jr., Kenny Galladay. They may franchise him, not 100% sure. With that said, they need to get wide receiver, and St. Brown would be a very good young wide receiver to go with Cephas to start build a young duo going forward. It is important to give weapons to Jared Goff. Right now, we are lacking in that position, and since we have many draft picks, it is okay to use a third-round draft pick on a wide receiver to give him some help. Look, the defense has already been upgraded a little bit. Why not get a pick, give a very good speedy, agility wide receiver, throw it in that core. He could be a really good prospect going forward. Subscribe to the channel. Why do you want to subscribe to the channel? Because we do live shows, we do videos sporadically, doing collaborations with other YouTube channels, Lions fans, and other fan bases. We have a lot of fun on this channel, but you got to subscribe to do it. With the third pick in the third round, 88 overall, the Detroit Lions select defensive tackle Tyler Shelvin, LSU. A 5-star recruit in 2017, LSU's defensive lineman Tyler Shelvin redshirted his first year on campus, found some playing time in redshirt freshman in 18, and showcased his dominant run-stopping ability as a starter in 2019 before opting out in the 2020 season. Shelvin is straightforward evaluation. He's a massive interior defensive lineman who's outstanding against the run, and he doesn't offer much in the passing down, upside, the pushing the pocket. Shelvin isn't a dynamic run defender simply because he's big and strong. He knows how to fit his hands, find the football, disintegrate, and finish. Shelvin plays tremendous urgency on every snap and competes hard pursuits despite limiting range. He's dominant against the single blocks and more and hold his own against doubles. For a guy who is going to be asked to fill in and unleash the role in the NFL, he embraces taking on blocks, absorbing double teams, eating space, and keeping the second level clean. Shelvin is making of a dominant run-stuffing 3-4 nose tackle or a 4-3-1 technique. When it comes to Tyler Shelvin, he had 15 solo tackles, 33 assists, 48 total. This guy is a massive body to put upon that defensive line. You got to be able to stop the run. The defensive line is not that good in that regard. They need to be able to do it. This guy is a big body guy, and he can finally plug up the holes that's required for the Lions defense. Defense, 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 and you need to be able to stop the run. How do you win football games, folks? You run the football, stop the run. Dan Campbell wants to run the football, and I have a very good feeling they want to be able to stop the run. This guy is a big body. Put him next to Penasini. That's a very good young combination right there. Stop the run, get after the passer. This would be a good pick in the third round. The Detroit Lions are on the clock at the 112th pick, but they made a trade with the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota gets 112. The Detroit Lions get 119 and 172. And with the 119th pick in the 2021 NFL mock draft, the Detroit Lions select offensive tackle from Stanford, Walker Little. Walker Little aligned at left tackle for the Cardinals offense. He's a big, strong prospect, excellent length, and prototypical NFL size. He's an excellent range, which makes him ideally suited to play the edge. He plays with the good athleticism overall, as evidenced in fluid pass set and his ability to laterally and redirect inside. He also demonstrates excellent lat strength in his hands. He will compete as a run blocker, but also doesn't generate much vertical movement. He plays with vision, instinct, easily identifies twists and stunts. Little suffered a knee injury in 2019 and hasn't played since after opting out of the 2020 season. He can play eventually to the right side, where the Detroit Lions need some help. He is 6'7", 309, 21, and he can play on the right side, swing to the left side. The Detroit Lions need help on that right side. We're not 100% sure who can be there. It'd be good to get some depth. Little could do that. Like I said, we need help, and with the trade here, getting another extra pick in the later round is not bad. Put some depth on this offensive line. If there's an injury to Decker, we have more young bodies to compete to take that spot, and maybe he can compete and force to see who can take the right side, because we got question marks with Terrell Crosby, with Halapoulivaati Vaitai. Why not get a depth guy here on the offensive line? And in the 5th round, 154th overall, the Detroit Lions got lucky, and this player fell to them. Defensive tackle Marvin Wilson. Marvin Wilson was highly touted high school and recruit and had excellent flashes, next level potential throughout his times at Florida State. He aligned primarily on the interior for the Seminoles, but played some 5 technique in 2020. His best bet at the next level would be even the front defense that features him as a passing downs, where he illustrates good hand usage, quickness, and urgency when rushing the quarterback. Wilson is capable of run defender, but he also has some issues anchoring and contact balance due to his top-heavy frame and narrow lower body. It's apparent that Wilson has natural athleticism and power, but his body composition and playing on inconsistent leverage rob him from those qualities. He would be well-served as a cleanup up his frame to allow his natural gifts to shine more consistently. It is clear that Wilson can take another step forward and develop into a balanced defender that has featured part of the NFL defensive line rotation. Marvin Wilson has 11 solo tackles, 6 assists, total of 17, and 1 sack. His stats don't jump off you when it comes to this. With that said, he has a very high ceiling. Kind of reminds me of Deshaun Hand as a rookie. We already got a defensive lineman that can stop the run. Why not get one that can rush the passer? When you have the defensive line, it's important to have waves of defenders rotating them out so they don't get tired. Marvin Wilson fell to them. They had to take him. And with the last pick, 172 overall, the Detroit Lions select Robert Rochelle, cornerback, Central Arkansas. Robert Rochelle is a long pass man coverage corner who has been on one of the more productive players to come out of the program in recent memory. Tearing his ACL during his senior season of high school, he fell into the lap of the UCA program after heading towards being one of the top-ranked prospects in Louisiana. With 38 career pass breakups and 10 career interceptions, he has a high-end career ball production. Originally starting out his career as a wide receiver, he quickly transitioned to the other side of the ball after his redshirt freshman season. Rochelle has a well-developed frame and one of his been assets to premier of the team's defense. A handsy ultimate competitor, he will need to clean up his willingness to grab targets on routes. Forceful with initial jam attempts, he will have to develop better control of the line, as one of his biggest weaknesses is airspace allowed after initial release to the top-end routes. His stats are definitely not jumping out here with 2 solo, 1 forced fumble. With that said, there's a lot of upside, and we're talking about a late round draft pick. The Detroit Lions have a chance to get younger here for a developing player who could potentially compete to be a backup for the Lions cornerback position. We're talking a late round flyer here for the Detroit Lions. Again, we're going to the secondary, maybe as an individual who compete for depth. There's going to be cornerbacks that's going to be released from this football team. You're going to need depth at some point. This is a guy you can take a flyer on and see if he can compete. Let me know what you thought about this mock draft. Comment. Is this a good mock draft? Do you like that I went a lot of defense here and supplemented it with a little bit of offense? Let me know in the comment section. Also, in the upcoming videos on Thursday, the live One Pride Podcast mailbag segment where you guys give us questions and we give answers. It's a fun time. 6:30 on Thursday.